Alright folks, in today's video we're going to review this MFJ-892 SWR and power meter. It's a big boy. Before we get started, I wanted to say that there's some buttons down below. A like button, a comment button, subscribe button. Go ahead and click them. It'll make you happy. So before we get started, I did want to say that I had been in contact with MFJ and they asked if I would review this meter. And of course I said yes, so they sent it to me free of charge in exchange for this video review. Now you can see that there are a variety of meters with this same product line. This is the number 2. And then here are some of the main features. I'm not going to go through them. If you want to read it, you can hit pause and then you can read through those features. Let's go ahead and get this box open. Now, I had not opened this box previously, so we get to enjoy this moment together. Here's a copy of the user manual, which you can also find online. I'll provide a link to that below, and we'll take a look at it a little bit later on in the video. Here is the configuration for how you want to set up your meter. Let's go ahead and pull this baby out. And as you can see, this is a big meter. It has a 3.5-inch display. It also has an LED backlight feature, which makes it quite bright. It comes with this, I think it's a 5.5 millimeter barrel adapter. And then you would add your own terminals to this plug. The plug powers the LED that is behind the display. You don't have to have that plugged in order to use this meter, but when you light up the display, it is much easier to read, and it looks really nice. And now it's in a bunch of plastic. The controls are reasonably limited or simple. You have a range, a function, and then an LED on and off. Your range is 2 watts, 20 watts, and 200 watts. On the back, you have your 12-volt adapter connector, and then you have line in and line out for your antenna and your radio. Let's go ahead and pop this baby open and see what's inside. Disassembly is pretty easy. You just take 5 screws out of the housing, 2 on either side and 1 in the back. All the connections look pretty good here. These white Teflon screws are what you use to calibrate your different settings. And then here we can see the switch control. And that looks rugged and durable. If you needed to do any repair work or adjustments, it doesn't look like it would be very difficult. Alright, we're going to put this thing back together and hook it up to the radio. Alright, so here we are at the internet. It wouldn't be a TheSmokinApe video if we didn't have a little internet. This is MFJ's website, and I'll include this link below. And here you can see the MFJ-892 Giant X SWR watt meter. Now this is one version of this particular watt meter that covers 1.6 to 200 megahertz, 200 watts. And I just wanted to put that here because when you come to these websites, you can get some information that we probably won't cover. And you can click this tab and you can download the product manual. And here is the user manual. And one thing that you can notice here is that it covers all of the 89X models of this SWR and watt meter. So you want to pay a little bit of attention as you go through it. But what's handy is you can come down here and get specifications or other pieces of information that we may not cover in the video. I also wanted to point out that if you take a look at the advertisement for the 891, the Giant X SWR and watt meter, and you come down here to product manuals, you can actually download the product schematic. And then when you take a look at this, you can see the schematic of the device. And you may have to do some repair work, or you may want to do some adjustment at some point in time, and this would be helpful. All right, let's keep going. For our first test, we're using an MFJ dry dummy load instead of an antenna. We're also using a Bioenno battery to charge our meter and our radio. And we're feeding that power through the MFJ-1106 power distribution unit. Our test radio is going to be the Xiegu G90. And I want to make sure that my power is set to 20 watts. And then I'm just going to check the range and make sure that we're set to 20 watts here. You can turn the LED on or off. I like it on. And then I'm going to make sure that I'm set on average for my function. Now we're recording some audio. This is the average. The SWR is 1:1, but that's expected. And then here we are with peak power. So far, so good. I'm really liking this meter. Here we are with peak power. Next, I'm going to adjust my power down to 10 watts. And we've dropped it down to 10. You can see that this is my peak on SSB. And then here we are with the averages. Okay, now we're going to try a different radio. Here we test 2 meters. This is my Juntai radio that I use as a bench test radio. We're going to test on low power at first, which I believe is 15 watts. But with these radios, you can never tell. And we're giving it a little bit of a test. We're using the 20 watt scale here and doing average power. We're giving a little bit of a test here, and you can see it's a little bit below 20 watts. We're giving it a little bit of a test, and you can see it's a little bit below 20 watts. Okay, now we're going to set the radio to high power. And now we're giving it a test, and you can see it's a little bit above 20 watts. And that's going to wrap up this video. I do want to say that I really like this meter and think it's quite worth the street price of $129. Anyhow, thanks to MFJ for sending this out. Thanks to everybody for watching. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or recommendations, go ahead and leave them below and I'll do my best to respond. Thanks again, everybody. I really appreciate it.